I have never seen that stuff before, and I truly have enjoyed that stuff.
I like to see the real landings.
Oh yes, the real landing.
We all want to.
Gives you a new perspective on everybody, doesn't it?
Not so indestructible.
Evidently, this one never had a real landing quite like that. Like some of the ones you've seen.
Patty left
Thank
the show.
God.
Yes, otherwise I wouldn't be here right
Pretty
now.
stressful time. Was it pretty?
With Patty? I liked her. I always liked her. She wasn't too happy, I don't think. And then she left. We got Rebecca, who was just a sweetheart. And I think her husband was extremely wealthy, Rebecca.
Older guy. Yeah, they say in the oil business.
Because what makes me think that is they would fly in their Lear jet, to bring her to work. So I sort of,
I'll tell you, I can't let anybody in it, but I will.
Sort of made me think that they had a lot of money, but she was always very sweet and very nice. I'm actually sorry she's not here today. I was looking forward to it.
Well, me
Patricia.
too. I haven't met her, but Patricia has come to several of our shows, and I had the privilege of interviewing her for Knight Rider Legacy Book. And she's wonderful to talk to, and
Down to earth.
very glad to participate in our events, and for and is very reasonable about it. So
I had fun with her. I sent the car to Riverside Raceway when there was one. For a NASCAR, I still have my jacket for a NASCAR race, and then we paraded around the deal, which was sort of fun. But I sat with her and her boyfriend and my wife and my wife and me. It was cold and rainy, and back then there was no parking lot. It was dirt, and then we had to slog through the mud to get to that. But we were up, up high. At least it was warm there, and they had food. Or everybody else was cold and wrapped in blankets, and so we had a lot of fun. David wouldn't go, but
David wouldn't go. He was too good for it.
Yeah, I don't want to say anything, but I mean,
he was too good.
He must have had something to do. But David and I always got along. We always got along.
Well, that's important. I mean, I think that it's from what I've seen. I mean, I don't follow a whole lot of Hollywood lifestyle stories other than Knight Rider, but I mean, you guys had a really good core group. Patricia says this when I spoke with Patricia on our first interview. She said that it was really the cast. Really was like a family together, and it made the show shooting and the relationships go really easy. It made the acting go really easy. So, it sounded like the cast and the crew, generally speaking, got along very well, and it made it a very fun thing.
We had a lot of fun on that show.
That's fantastic.
We had a lot of fun on that show. We shoot a lot of it out here. I mean, out in this area.
Well, there were 3 episodes shot right here.
Oh, yeah,
and I actually didn't realize this was the place until yesterday. Yes, it's the first time I've been here. So
we shot here. We shot at Riverside Raceway. We did an indie show there. The funny part was you want to do it, and I knew I'm a car guy. I knew the guy
That's awesome.
that had famous guy. Now I can't remember his name. He now lives in Arizona. He used to live in San Diego. And he had all the films of all these races. So we went down there to in those days, Escondido, and looked at all his, film and see what he had. And we painted a couple cars to match, and we had our race.
All right.
We had the whole race all done before we even started, except for the pits and stuff, or fill in the blanks with 3 days I think. We shot there. I drove a Corvette powered insert car around the track. I mean, it's just, you think it's work, but it's, God, it's more fun than anything.
A lot of fun.
I wouldn't think it was
great.
work. I was thinking it'd be a lot of fun.
That's great.
There's a lot of grief and a lot of stress because you're responsible. It's my bum on the line for, the $1.5 million that we spend every week, and we better not go over that.
So then, were you one of the people that decided? Were you directly involved with strapping all of the cameras to, say, this car? No, was that you just directed that, or
no? I just paid for it.
You just paid? Okay, you paid.
I stood there and watched them.
So you stood there and watched somebody else say, "This camera goes here, and we're going to mount it on this car so it doesn't scratch." And so, who designed the structure and the cameras and all that? Do you know?
Well, I did a lot of the auto work because, again, I was a car guy. I mean, for the Pursuit car, which I was telling them a funny story about the Pursuit car. But we put the crew together, and then we tell them when to show up and what to do. But I mean, they're pros and they know how to mount a camera and all that kind of stuff. I mean, I would go to the effects shop, make sure we were getting the dash done and how it should be, and no, we can't have this, and we don't want 2 screens, we want 1 because I have to fill 2, with playback and stuff, and I went to Barris and had him again. They didn't go through the special effects department and had them make a soft nose.
Okay, tell us about that.
Well, because we kept breaking noses.
The fiberglass one, like what's on there.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And and subsequent models on all the replicas now.
Yeah, but yeah, we try to get away from the fiberglass stuff because it would break and bend. I mean, break. So we used, George made up a whole bunch of these things for us. And
they were rubber.
Soft. Yeah.
Rubber. Okay.
Well, they weren't. There was some kind of other stuff, but
okay.
It's probably used. It's like Endura, that kind of stuff. Because the '68 Pontiacs had the soft rubber.
I own a '69 Pontiac. Has
Do you?
a front end. Yep.
I have a '65.
All right.
2+2.
Ah, Catalina 2+2. Wonderful.
3 deuces and a 4-speed. And a 421.
My father was into the 60s and 70s Pontiac-specific muscle cars. Mm-hmm. And so when I was a teenager, I grew up working on all of those. What's really funny is I fell in love with Knight Rider at 10 years old.
Oh,
and
yeah.
my father looked at that car and he said, that car doesn't have any muscle.
Yeah.
That's all Hollywood special effects. We got the real stuff, son.
Yeah, he was right.
So when I fell in love with this car, he's like, AJ, I'm so disappointed. Now, it wasn't really, but you know what I'm saying. But you guys made the car do stuff on camera that, no car could do.
Well, for instance, I'm the one that got, first of all, we couldn't fix the goddamn things because we couldn't get any parts.
Yeah.
It was a brand new car. I was telling.
I have a few thousand Knight Rider pictures, so I wanted you to continue with your story, but then I wanted to bring up something that I thought was relevant.
Okay. Because we couldn't fix the car. I'd sleep at night. I'd dream about stealing Firebirds and leaving it. We'll return it. We'll replace this with a new car. By the end of the week, just to get the windshield and the front end. We'd bend the front end. We'd reinforce the because it's got a subframe. We'd put frame connectors and reinforce that, but that's still bad. And you can see in some of the early shows, the car is going like this, and it's going. Yeah.
Clearly. I mean, you could tell. There's no way it's in the land.
I wish they
the way it's supposed to.
Right, but see, you did a fantastic job. You did a fantastic job with these nice level ones. And I had, here's a funny thing. The funny story is, I did an interview with Jack Gill for our Knight Rider Legacy book, and he said, the director always wanted these nice square landings, and Jack said, we hated those because they were so hard on us stuntmen, because we absorbed all of the impact instead of the car. But I will say this, I mean, Jack survived, okay, and we appreciate all the work that he's done. As a kid, when I saw the square landing, I'm like, yeah!
So are we. But don't kid yourself. I'm telling you about this story.
Okay.
So I started to investigate computer graphics. Me, who is really a nut and bolt guy. So I'm trying. I go all over Southern California trying to find a guy who can do computer graphics. Well, back in those days, and I had a trial at the biggest place in Hollywood. And it took like 3 weeks to do a sort of cartoonish version of a Trans Am. And it looked real bad.
Was this before or after Knight Rider?
During.
Okay.
Because I can't fix the damn things. I want to find a cheaper way. And so, well, that doesn't seem like it's going to work. Because by the time you put leaves and trees and, people and stuff in the background, it's going to be 4 years before we get a... Well, I started looking, because I had in the past done miniature work.
Miniatures. I knew you were going to go to miniatures.
I did.
I knew you.
I found a guy. Well, I had a guy come in, an Asian guy, and he brought in a real pretty girl. I remember these things. Sitting in my office, and he's saying, well, you can't do it. And 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 I got so mad. I don't get mad very often. And I said, what are you doing telling me I can't do it? Like, You're supposed to be telling me you can do it. If you can't do it, get the fuck out of here. I threw him out of my office. I was so mean.
All right, well, here.
So,
I'm just pulling. Go ahead and keep talking. I'm pulling up some pictures that are relevant here.
I found a guy. I don't know where he came from. Somehow, and I don't even remember how I found him. A guy named Pete Slagle.
Okay.
And
I thought you were going to say Jack Sessom.
no.
Okay.
And of course, the stunt guys all hated me because when I went to miniatures, but we did stuff like the car going through the railroad train. I mean, the train with the open doors.
Right.
That was miniature. Yeah.
Which I'm not sure what the best lighting is for this, but
Ooh, there's Rebecca. Okay.
yeah, there's Rebecca.
Who's this bitch?
I'm not sure.
Who's the girl in the middle? Okay.
Yeah, the girl in the back. Yeah.
Oh, I have a story about this.
You do?
Yeah.
Okay, tell us a story about this.
Uh-oh.
All right, there we go.
We were in Las Vegas.
And that's this one right here.
Yeah.
Okay.
And it was Mr. and Mrs. Bad brother against good brother and that kind of thing.
Okay.
And so we fell behind because of rain and because of this and that. And so we had the miniature guys. I put a day's work together of stuff that we really could do. I didn't think it looked that good, but you know, push comes to shove, we'll have to move it and let him do it. And I made a day, and I made 2 days. So then I said, well, wow, we're out of the woods. We finished what we absolutely had to do in Las Vegas. Go home, and Pete did it in 2 days' work for about a quarter or half of what a day would cost us there. You know, I mean, even less than that. And it looked great. But that was the bad brother, good brother episode. Yes, yeah.
Oh
my God.
I got a question about Ron Martinez.
Oh my God.
Steve Fawcett. You can say a couple words to Steve Fawcett, the guys at the UK.
Oh my God, let me think of something to say first.
Okay. Ron Martinez.
Well, yeah, give me a break though. I'll think of something. When is there, dude?
Well, of course, they're fans too, but they're from the UK, but they have replicas, some of them, and
Yeah, but I think they're having some big meeting or something.
it's the night con.
The night what?
Night con, like convention night.
Oh, NightCon.
Nice shirt.
Oh, there he is.
Nice shirt.
We're glad that you could join us, and at least they can feel like they're here, you know what I mean?
Sure. NightCon 2007.
Yeah, and so this way at least they'll feel like they got to meet you, sort of.
Yeah, this is a godsend. Okay, and his name's Steve, huh?
Steve Fawcett.
Steve.
I think those are still available.
Okay. Steve, congratulations on NightCon 2007. I regretfully say I can't be there with you. I would love to be there joining you and all the fans, your friends, relatives, and girlfriends, and all of your cars. I hope you all have a great time, and the best to you always.
Appreciate it.
Is it on the internet?
Thanks, Ron.
Oh, do they know it's me?
I know it's you.
Okay.
You look good. You look good on camera.
You sure?
Camera loves you.
I hate to stumble, but
That might be.
It's all right. No, this
because not often do I get to think before I speak.
way it's spontaneous.
Don Brooks did the.
Okay, I have a lot more miniature pictures, but before we get to those, I had you mentioned rubber. Now, I'm not sure how well you could see this.
It's the production.
Okay, but that is a rubber shell Hasselhoff is sitting in, and I believe Jack Gill developed this. And when you talked about a rubber nose, it reminded me of this rubber polyurethane shell or something that they put over the car, and it was thick enough that it held its shape. But they just peeled it off.
Boy, I don't
they
remember that one
scratched it up.
either. My God.
Okay.
Jack Gill developed it?
Well, that's what he said. And actually, I just met Jack Gill a year after we did the interview, and I brought him these pictures, and he autographed them and all that wonderful stuff there. So, anyway, but we were back at the miniatures. I'm in the wrong place. There we go.
See, our cars would land flat.
So all of the jumps that you were in charge of?
We wound up doing almost all the jumps in miniature. After the now, I don't remember what year it was.
Well,
but
you
it had
started.
no big-
We never saw a miniature before the second season.
No,
So
no, I was thinking
83
the
was the
second
first,
season.
first time we saw miniatures.
Yeah, because it took me a while. Because we spent, I figure I saved $5 million going to Village.
Yeah, you probably did.
Wow.
So you had a story about that one.
And we had that one, and that's the one where we compressed all the work, and we did some of the stuff that I was afraid to do in miniature.
Oh, cool.
And it worked great, and no one ever knew or complained.
Look at that. Like, see, here's the car.
And we got out of. Oh, I remember that. And we got out of Las Vegas on time.
Oh, look at that.
From Goliath Returns.
From which one?
I think that's from Goliath Returns.
Oh, Goliath.
Goliath and
Yeah.
Goliath Returns. Of course, that's where that semi was from. So there we go. There's Kit hanging out in the sky there. After we're driving off a cliff, that particular feature worked.
Was that off the cliff, or was that from the back of the sea?
Well, in the show, he drove off a cliff.
Oh, okay.
But we don't know how you guys did it.
No, we put him out of an airplane one time. Out of the back of an airplane.
Oh, my gosh.
Well, tell us about that.
Which is great fun because they got to go up in an airplane. I've been in more airplanes because of this job. I mean, I've been in a B-29. Very few. I mean, I think there's only 5 left anymore. I've flown in a B-17, a B-25, or a B-24. I don't remember exactly. One of those, a 24 or 25. I've flown in a Stearman. I've flown in a number of helicopters. I did a rescue, not a real rescue, movie rescue in a Coast Guard
Okay.
helicopter.
Very cool. Very cool.
Oh, I mean, can be real fun if you have the right attitude.
So you know this guy?
Yes.
All right. Who
It's
is that?
Jack Sessoms.
That's Jack Sessoms. That's what I thought. He was the source of these pictures.
Ah,
Right.
May he rest in peace.
So
How did you find him?
who was it that got me in touch with him? A gentleman by the name of.
Hello.
He was a Dukes of Hazzard fan, and so Jack Sessoms evidently also did miniatures
Yeah,
for
they
Dukes of
did.
Hazzard.
Yeah.
So his name is Bell.
They did some
His
Fall
last name
Guy
is Bell.
stuff, I think, before. I think that's how I got a hold of was Fall Guy.
So there's the Hasselhoff bust.
Yeah. Those guys were always going to give me one of those cars, but they didn't.
I know one of the guys that comes to our shows actually has one of the miniatures.
This was the first thing they did for us.
This is it. This is Kit driving on the water. Well, this was
Yes.
early in the second season.
Yes, and
So-
that was that was Malibu Pier.
Right. The name of the episode is when we got it was Return to Cadiz.
Oh,
That,
okay.
We don't know what you called it in
Hi.
I'm a fan. I'm
Oh, hi.
Thelma.
Hi, Thelma.
She actually has a trend. I have a trend.
Nice to meet you. Which one is it?
It's not here. Mine needs to be fixed up.
Yeah, her needs
I have to
some love and restoration.
Yeah, mine needs a lot of love. And
Is it an 82?
83. So very close. It's very close, but I love it. It's the most beautiful car on the planet.
Oh, yes, they are. They are a great car.
I'm sorry, I'm a Camaro person.
Yeah, well, they're the same car.
Forgive me. Well, I like the 68 Camaro.
Oh, 68, yeah.
My mom had one. Such a beautiful body. Although in fact it was ruined.
So you did the
68.
You did the production, or what did you do
Yeah.
on that show? So what does that involve? What did you do? I'm not in the.
Well,
business
yeah,
side.
no, it just, I mean, I was in charge of spending all the money.
Okay, that's
So
a good.
we
That's
made,
a good
great
deal.
job.
we made
Yeah.
decisions and we did, we worked to try to keep the costs down and to be inventive and creative. Do a decent show and that kind of stuff.
And then is this like the president of the film or something? He's
No,
got it
this
all
is
in
the handsome guy in the left who owns that car. He wrote the book. Did I write the book?
Oh, this one right here.
Yeah, now we have the guy that designed the car.
Where is he? I saw what he's wearing.
He's right there. The handsome guy in the gray hair with the reflection. And then there's another guy who did the music.
He looks too young. Mattel, was he the Mattel toy guy?
No, he was an honor designer. Yes, yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Let up. Why not?
Believe me. And there's another. Oh, and the fellow in the black and red shirt did the music.
Yeah, we talked to him.
Yeah. He did my camera. Yeah, that's great. Well, cool. All right, so we were.
Yeah. That was funny.
So this was the return to Cadiz. Kit drove on the water. Was the first one you did for miniatures.
The first thing was, I was talking to the writer producer, and I said, look, we're going to go to miniatures and go to so on and so forth. Okay, great. Whatever you do, but for the first thing, I said, whatever you do, the only thing they can't do is put a car on water.
So of course, when they say that's the only thing we can't do, that's the first thing you wanted to do. You are my kind of guy.
I should have said whatever you can do.
Life,
we want to go on water, and it would have gone away right away.
In life, and see, it didn't kill the show because you had 2 more seasons after that.
No.
So you see, you really did succeed.
And we did. We knew we had to, and they knew they had to. So put little rails under the water, and they mixed up some stuff in the water because it's very hard to scale down a drop of water.
Yeah, it's huge.
It's next to the car. It's 3 foot long drop.
Yeah.
And so we had some issues there. I forget what they put in the water to make it not do that, but it worked great. And the car looked pretty decent. I wanted the wheels to turn, and the other producers didn't want the wheels to turn, so they didn't turn. They looked sort of stupid, I think.
Well, we could tell that something was up, even as kids, but we knew that the whole show wasn't supposed to be taken that seriously. It was just supposed to be fun. So it worked. It absolutely worked. So.
Well, I'm a Flash Gordon fan. Those old serials from 1936 and that.
So there's your guys.
Oh God, yeah.
They're all that set there, and they're hanging out on the beach.
Isn't that something?
There you go.
See, there it is.
There it is.
Yeah, look at me.
Oh, wow. Yep.
Oh my goodness. Was that miniature or was
Yep.
Yeah, that's a miniature.
That's miniature.
Yep. Exactly.
Oh yeah, I could tell.
57 Chevys. Jack Sessoms had the Chevys. And I was so mad because that 57 looks like crap. The back window isn't right. It should be a hair long.
Okay.
Because I'm a car guy too.
Show the camera.
Yeah, and the 56 didn't quite pull it off. That was probably the only real thing I was unhappy with. And the side trim I think is a little too high. Aesthetically it's not.
Well, this is one of the few shots we didn't notice were miniatures
Really?
as kids. This one wasn't obvious.
Oh.
This was so really you might notice a problem with that.
Yeah.
Sure.
When you're 11,
I did.
I cared. I was 11. I noticed things about this, not about this.
Right, that's true.
Right, exactly. There's some. Oh, there we go.
Yes. Oh God.
Did he sign something? Did he cut something?
Oh, please look.
I gotta start right now.
Look through them. Keep them.
This year, last year?
Is there any way I could get pictures of the story?
This year I bought 6. I'm gonna hold on to a couple.
Which stories in
There's a
front?
little story right there on those. Does anybody have copies
Yes.
of those?
That's his.
What?
Yeah, does anybody have copies smaller, or can I get a copy?
I remember this.
Of that. That's on
This is in the L.A. River.
Okay.
No, I don't.
Down by the river. And we look at how good that water looks.
Yep.
No, it
Oh,
isn't.
it's you?
We spent a day doing some stuff in that river. I went to everyone,
So I know.
pre-production.
That is the whole history of that
Yeah.
car.
That was great.
I've been in
There's a
every
black and
riverbed in Los Angeles County.
There's a black and white shot of this.
Yeah, see? That doesn't look right. Weird times.
Well, see, but now here's you notice those. As a kid, I noticed this, and I say, "Oh, the hubcap doesn't look right."
Yeah,
it's missing the. Well, not only is it bent, but you see the 5 holes.
Little teeth.
Well, it's missing the 5 holes.
Yeah, you're right.
So if you're gonna talk about the hubcaps, we gotta get the kit right.
Yeah, that's right. That's more important.
That and the Z28 emblem there.
Yes, sir.
Oh,
And there's no opening for the Trans Am on the fender, See, so I can notice all kinds of things there.
that's true. I never noticed
So,
that.
but when you see it for 2 seconds,
Yeah.
it is effective. So don't feel too bad. We admire your attempt, and that's before CGI. This is what you guys did, and we know that.
That's what we did.
That's right.
CGI would have taken us months, a year to. Now see, there's Jack's car. That's
Jack
a real
Sesson's
car.
car. Okay.
Yeah. See, this isn't quite. Doesn't look right.
All right. Now, so is this a miniature?
Yeah.
All right. So they just use the proportions and.
Sure.
I have an 82 and an 89.
Well, you can see this. It looks awful.
82 and 89 was almost the same height difference.
Well, I guess he wanted to make it like his. So now we've come around to, that's the extent of the miniatures that I have.
Oh, you know, we had so much fun doing miniatures. You know what, too? I was doing Murder, She Wrote.
Okay.
And we had a goofy script. I mean, we had a script about the guy, astronomer at the planetarium. And we went, they wouldn't let us in the planetarium.
Okay.
But we did scout it, which was the fun part, so I got to look through the telescope.
Cool.
Again, you know, it's sort of part of the fun. And they wouldn't let us shoot there. And so I think we might have been inside the planetarium, but they wouldn't let us identify it or something. And so we went up to Mount Wilson to look, and that doesn't, I mean, it just wouldn't work at all. And the story was that this astronomer would look at his wife through the telescope. This gazillion-dollar telescope, you know, with a lens like this, looking through the window at his wife with some other guy. See?
Oh, well, see, the some other guy part,
So
that
he
makes
killed-
it interesting.
He killed the guy, you know, and that's what.
Okay, all right, so that was the story.
That was the story. We don't know how, you know, how the guy was killed, and we have to find out.
Right.
So, we don't have. Okay, we did use the interior of the planetarium. I remember looking through the scope, and we had no exterior. So I told the producer at that time on Murder, I said, you know what? Let's do it at College of the Canyons. Well, that doesn't happen. No, but I said we can't use Palomar. We can't use this. We're not going to go out of town. I said, let's use that, and I'll make it look like a planetarium.
Well, that's part of that magic. You guys were really good there.
What do you mean? I tell you what. I'll shoot it first. So I go out there. I take beat. And we go up, because I knew the perfect spot to do this, because we had shot this. And you're on a bit of a mountain, overlooking the college. And so I get with Pete. Pete's like, I dealt with more than Jack. Jack was at home, you know, building this. I said, look, here's what we need to do. We need to put like a wall here and a planetarium with a telescope, right? And we'll hang it from 2 C-stands. And we'll have our, he says, yeah, that'll work fine. Okay. So I think 3 days later, he comes back. And he and I go out with the camera guy and stuff. And our other producer's going crazy that we're not it's gonna. So the way I had it is that you could see this planetarium building. And at the same time, we waited for the class, the bell to ring. Do they do that in college? I don't remember. But
Some of them.
yeah, you know, so we'd have people walking. So we had people walking around the planetarium and around the rest of the school. And so we shot that. We were there, you know. By the time everything was all said and done, you know, a couple hours. One truck could probably cost us, you know, $1,000 or something, a nice lunch. And I ran the film in dailies. This is back when we used to do that. You know, now you get a DVD, but then you go sit in the screening room, which was the best thing ever because you could sit and talk. And I have saved more jobs by describing what the director meant to some producer who doesn't have a clue, you know, especially the person who wrote the thing, you know, how it's going to go together. I tell you another story about that. Anyway, the guys shit their pants. I mean, they couldn't believe. Where did you shoot this? College of the Canyons. Well, they don't have a planetarium. Well, they do now. Look at that.
Well, see, I I have a lot of cousins, little kids, 5, 10 years old, what have you. I'll go over to their house and they know I'm a Knight Rider, and so they think it's cool, that it's not on TV. I bring the DVDs. Like, oh, let's watch Knight Rider, AJ. Let's watch Knight Rider. So I do that, and they know I know a lot about the show. So they ask me, how did they do that? How did they do that? And some of the things I know the answer to. Most of the things I know the answer to. A few I don't. But most of the time I say, I don't really want, I think to myself, I don't really want to tell them all this. So I just say, it's Hollywood magic.
And it is.
So you're telling me stories of Hollywood magic.
You know what? In fact, we got phone calls. After that episode aired. Okay, so I proved to them that we could do that. Problem solved. We did the show. And after it, I had forgotten all about the drama, And after the show, we started getting phone calls.
Who was the man again? They came back.
There was Don Peake.
Michael Scheffe.
Yes.
The original designer of K.I.T.T.
That's his
Michael Scheffe.
wife there, I think.
Yes.
Right here.
That's his wife, yeah. He's a
Do you
handsome
have a marker
young guy.
to borrow? I bring it back.
A what?
A marker?
I don't have a marker, but I have a pen.
There's Michael, right there.
There he
There's
is.
Michael. Yeah, I have a Sharpie too. If you
Oh, you have a Sharpie? The Sharpie's better, you think? What do you get? Yeah. And Don Peake was here, the music guy, but he's no in casa at the moment. You better get him quick.
All right. Here you go. Go ahead. Just run up to him.
I'll bring
I'm
it
sure he'd
back.
be glad to talk to you. There we go. I'm gonna jump in this photo.
Okay.
Let's jump in this photo shoot here, shall we? I'll just turn this around and we'll get it. Go ahead. Yeah.
Ah, there you go.
Oh, that's okay.
All right. Now there we go. Oh, now he shows up. I give you. Oh yeah, you still have my camera.
Hard to hold my stomach. I'm looking forward to that, Eric. Here we are. Bless you. Yeah, where do those old guys come from?
Well, my hair's all gone.
Oh! I'll second down on the green. What happened? Makeup? No.
Somebody can do something about that.
Yeah, this is weird. We need a real car. No question.
For these guys, we can make it.
I was going to try that.
I think Jim would approve.
And I heard Hasselhoff broken.
Yeah. Well, his days are so long.
So basically, I've learned to just turn. Yeah. It was kind of dive and go.
Yeah. You know I had an original stereo.
No, really? Yeah. Really? Because this is season 4. Like I said, this car went through the whole thing.
Jeez. Here goes my night.
I don't know. Let's What do you think of door open, Tim?
Oh, they're going to start. Okay. Door open?
Door open.
Oh, it's better. You're right. It's much better.
Another night of Saugus. Getting this thing.
All right, sir. Are you ready?
Absolutely. 1, 2, 3. Ah, that's a keeper. I'm going to get one more. Gotcha.
You know, it's such an honor meeting you.
Here, if it'll make you feel more at home, I'll mount the camera.
Yeah,
I'll send you the bill.
That's the way to do it.
We got to do it. Yeah, that's the way it should be, right? That came out pretty good. That came out pretty good.
Do you need a hand getting out?
God, I need an arm and a leg.
There you go. You're clear.
You know, it's funny. I used to get out of my hot rod and I used to moan and groan. Now anything I get out of, I moan and groan.
Michael?
Yeah.
We gotta. It's worth it. We gotta get you in here.
Everyone was involved in Night Rider.
Ah.
Are you ready?
Wait.
I'm ready for another beer. I think. Who wants a beer?
The TVs.
That's all right. Well, we see the lights. Okay, are you ready?
We can draw something in there. Anybody ready for a beer yet? Yeah, fun. Now you can do it. Bowen?
Here, one more.
I'll get one.
1, 2, 3.
He's the music. Don Peake.
Thanks, Don.
I'll be happy. Absolutely, of course.
Take the seat in your car.
Yes, sir.
Who should I put it to? What's your name?
There we go. Absolutely.
That was the Beatles. That's right.
1, 2, 3. Oh, it went off. Perfect, Michael. Thank you. It's like some kind of crazy drink. 25 years ago. 25 years ago.
It's an honor, though.
Oh, what fun.
Not gonna let anybody in here.
Are you? What do you have to do with it?
I talked to Dougie.
Working in the office?
Yeah, he's been having in there 3 days.
He's a bit of job going, about 3 days left.
Come on.
Yeah, I don't have a digital.
And that's the keeper. Now we got
He owns his own now. No, I'm looking for another guy. Oh, video. I went to the Speed Run National.
I'm talking about sucking in the gut. No.
Well, it's just a distortion of the film, that's all.
Okay, this one I did. There we go.
There you go.
Oh my God! I was going to say, speaking of guests, you want a beer? You want one?
I'm fine.
Good, how are you?
I think when I turned on the scanning light, it drew everything.
What a hit you are with this car.
Ryan, see the auto crash going back
No,
there?
we took the pursuit car in Chicago.
You got your car here?
What do you got now?
It was more fun. And we put the skater on, and nobody had seen it. But every kid in town knew it.
Excuse me.
Not yet, it will. Come over here, we're going to get it.
Okay.
You have the car in the front. And then
used to work. Oh, yeah? I was working over there at, I didn't know what I was doing. Probably do Oscar Mile.
Jimmy's suing wrestlers.
Super's over there. Good job. These are all the same. I remember Hey Black Outcast.
Oh, Jim.
Jimmy?
No, Jim.
Jimmy? No. Jimmy's from it. I work for Timber Engineering. Oh, he's doing that job at full day. Wow. Freddie. Freddie's. Oh, Jimmy. Oh, you're right there.
Jimmy wears a hard hat.
Yeah, Jimmy. That's Jimmy.
He's a wild man.
Flies out there all the time.
Yeah, he'll sock him.
Did I retire? Great career. Yes. Good too. Yeah, he's worked great. Right? Ray used to work for us. Something they got now called Stunt. Yeah, we work with Ray up there. I do fight. All storm rain. You got a lot of work right now? Slow down. How long have you been retired? 5 years? I've been working. I get retirement. No, he pays me one for being a superintendent, and then I get 39 and a half hours. That goes to me. Yeah. So you can't work over 40 hours? I can't work over 40 hours. But you know what? Nobody, you don't have but you just can't put it in. Right. Yeah. Yeah. You gotta work. Yeah, that's our idea. You got a house in there. Why you want to use it? Okay, all right. We almost bought a house. I better get out of the garage. Have a good one, guys. Okay, you too. Yeah, same here.